start streaming. This is going to be the beat up stream, the stream where everything's getting beat up. My Tesla got beat up. I got to get that fixed. I don't know how I'm going to fix it. I'd like to try to fix it myself, but maybe you can't fix Teslas. And then Sunday, our beloved Sunday, got beat up. She knew she was getting beat up. She went to the hospital and paid to get beat up. It is her thumb. She had this bone removed from her thumb just yesterday. And she had it removed because it was really painful. Her job has her, writing estimates. She's on the phone all the time, and she tries to do so much. And she's been getting shots of cortisone in her thumb for a while. And eventually they said you had to have surgery. And the surgery sucked. They just deleted a piece of her thumb, and she won't ever be able to put weight on it like this anymore. It's super sad. Even sadder is that she was still answering iPad Rehab phone as they were literally wheeling her down the hallway to surgery. She was sending us a picture of her. So if you know Sunday, if you've been here for the course and you have a soft spot for Sunday, like many of you guys that watch the channel do, Sunday, if you're new to the channel, I hired years ago after she dropped her phone into a porta potty and then did the unthinkable. She went down to the kettle corn guy. She got 2 giant kettle corn bags, marched back to that porta potty, went in there and swished around until she found her iPhone and rescued it out of that porta potty and then brought it over to my house to try to fix it. And Sunday has been with us ever since that day. So if you want to write her, you can write her a get well card that we would love to collect and give to Sunday as she's recovering. It's 12 weeks of recovery. And I'm really, really feeling bad. In the meantime, that means that we're going to be sharing some of the phone duty around here. And so be nice when you call us, because we're not used to answering the phones or trying to fill her shoes. So Sunday got beat up. My Tesla got beat up. And then this phone here, this board jumped out at me today to do a live stream on because it got beat up. It's this poor little defenseless iPhone 8. It was beat up because it went to some other shop and who knows what happened to it. It came with a note, and the note says, iPhone 8. This is from another data recovery place. It says it has water damage around the NAND, and it says board was taken somewhere else and worked on. Now, this is one of my favorite data recovery folks that sends us stuff, because they usually, and I think same here today, they don't try to mess with it. They don't try to poke around and damage it. They just send it right along. So we love these guys. So this one, I'm sure, got to be in its current state from somebody else prior to them. Then it got here, and it has been seen by 2 of our junior technicians. One said there's a main short, and then it was seen this weekend by Ryan, who came all the way back from his first semester at college, all the way back home, and he came to iPad Rehab and spent, oh no, my tweezers, and spent a whole bunch of time with us. So we were super thrilled to have Ryan back. And he looked at this phone. He said, prior repair, main short, he crossed out and said main short due to prior repair, solder balls coming out of the MOSFET near Tigress and Chestnut is uneven. All right, so those are his observations. So let's take a look and see how are we doing. All right, Rodrigo says they sent it to a butcher shop. I guess so. All right, so what really jumps out, it does appear to have a main short. I don't know where though. And when we look around here, it is entirely missing the backlight driver. So somebody took off the backlight driver, which is kind of a weird, flex, bro. I'm not sure why they would take off backlight driver, and for kind of no reason. Maybe it got hot or something, I don't know. And then they've taken off also odd, they've taken off, this is a backlight anode filter, so that is a weird thing to take off. And then Chestnut, look at you, Chestnut, you look a little beat up. Chestnut has officially been beat up. We can see tweezer marks, ding ding, that is tweezer marks. And tweezer marks are not good. And if we look on the angle, straight is great, but the angle cannot lie to you. It looks like it's probably messed up there under old Chestnut. So I'm not sure why somebody was taking off Chestnut and then smashing it back on. And there is a little bit of water that was down here. We can see that hint of water damage. So even if the board's been cleaned and ultrasonic and brushed with the old man's toothbrush, it doesn't matter. You can always see, oh, ding ding, there's oxidation. This board was wet down here in this area, at least at some point in its history. Now, none of that is really concerning, so let's move on up. And now we can start to see why this turned into my cue rather than just quickly getting fixed by any of the junior technicians that are here. And that's because they noticed Mickey Mouse ears. They saw, ding, 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 there has been signs of overheating here on this great big underfilled Qualcomm chip. So see that? See the little Mickey Mouse ears? Ding, 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 ding. That can only happen if somebody intentionally beats up this board with a ton of heat and flashes that to too high a temperature and squeezes out those solder balls. And even over here, we can see more Mickey Mouse ears here, which means we might have a problem under these chips here, especially under our buddy Tigress. No, Tigress, not you. And we see signs of heat. And then we got a big old gouge here. So somebody has kicked this poor guy when he was down, took a corner of him, just sliced it off. Not good. And all of that is self-inflicted, or inflicted by somebody who had an anger problem in a source of hot air. All right, let's see how bad is it up here. So first shop said water damage around NAND, and they were right. They picked up on that. There is some water damage here and here. That was probably part of the original problem, or the original problem. And let's look under this area. Thankfully, everything looks okay. Here's a finding. This is something that seems pretty native. See this right here? I'm just noticing this for the first time. I have only glanced at this board and looked at the Chestnut area. Look at this. See this dull colored solder ball right there? That could well be a capacitor that ejected a solder ball when it turned into a wire. We're going to remember that and kind of think about this guy if there ends up being a problem here. Or maybe it's something it just picked up from my desk. Who's to know? All right, let's keep looking around. Looks fine, looks fine. Let's look over here. No water up at the top of the board. That is a small blessing. No water around here. Everything looks fine. Normal, normal. CPU shield is removed. Not my favorite because it's easy to overheat stuff, especially if you have an anger management problem and access to a hot air gun like somebody did on this board. But this thermal paste looks normal. All of this looks normal. Cracked coil housing, we're going to declare that normal as long as that coil wire itself is intact. It can kind of take that and be just a little bit beat up, but still functional. All right, so now what are we going to do? How do we start? Let's see, what do you say, chat? The solder balls mostly look like just SMT defect from when the board was made. Maybe. Let's see. Why does water cause capacitors to fail and short to ground? Wouldn't the current just go through the water to ground since there's less resistance? I really like that question from Echo about why does water cause capacitors to short to ground? And I think I don't know, but I'll make up an answer because that's what you do. We'll just sort of think out loud. So these capacitors, like this one here, they don't just turn into a wire with no physical damage from water. No, they do turn into a wire with no physical damage from drop, but not from water. So water only makes capacitors turn into wire by chewing the little end of their little end cap, their little capsule, which then is going to mechanically expose the layers that are in there like a jawbreaker, the ground side and the line side. And if you erode their little cap, then that allows those two layers to touch when it's really bad. So not every ugly looking capacitor is in fact a wire to ground, but sometimes they are, and that is a really common failure point. So I love that question. All right, what are we going to do though? Let's first make sure that we're only solving problems that are problems. And hopefully Sunday's surgeon did the same thing, made sure that he actually needed to delete her bone, which I still have a hard time even wrapping my mind around. Oh, so, and especially because she came out of surgery, everything was okay, and then somebody's been up here as well. And then it was only a few hours before she's back on team chat answering questions, and we're like, you need to rest. But then I think things started to, the medication started to wear off, and we haven't heard from her all day today. So I'm very worried. And if you want to send a card, if you want to send a card, there we go. Weatherman, there we go. Send it to Sunday, care of iPad Rehab, and that's our address. And you can make her day. So take a few minutes to do that if you're otherwise just sitting around. Okay, so yeah, we got some more beat up board up on this side. Let's go ahead and check on our diode mode on main. So where is main in the iPhone 8? Let's find a good juicy main spot to measure. So let's see. Is this one? Yeah, here's my favorite main spot in the iPhone 8. It's the red, yellow, green light. Green light. Green means go. We're going to go find that and take a reading on diode mode and see if it's true. According to our junior techs, there is indeed a short on main, and I believe that they are right. And they are 0.001 in diode mode to ground. So we do have a short on main. So now, what are we going to do about that? Well, it could be completely unrelated, and it was always short on main, and that this kind of nonsense has nothing to do with our problem. It could be that we have a short on main because of the overheating. There's a lot of main under both of these guys. It could be that we have a short on main because of the nonsense here at Chestnut. So no way to know. Let's look for heat. So let's go ahead and grab our trusty thermal camera and look for heat. Now I am going to do a video soon that is going to compare our beloved Seek Compact Pro with the iPad Rehab macro lens that we use all day every day for short detection with the Chinese SuperCam. So SuperCam is all right, although I think it might not be working right now. But SuperCam has been good for when I have to do short detection on YouTube, because it has a nice interface with Open Broadcaster. But that's not going to help us today. All right, let's see. All right, I actually learned a lot from you, says Michael. Fantastic, that is good to hear. We are about to do our October course starting on Monday. I think there's a seat or two left if anybody wants to come and join us for a super fun week of microsoldering, which is always my favorite week of the month. Is course week. Mark will be coming in on Sunday, so in just a few short days, the amazing Mark Schaefer will be around. And let's see if we can find some heat. Let's see if you guys can help me find some heat. So I'm going to connect to DC power. And let's see what's getting hot. So on this side of the board, we can see a hot spot, but that looks really diffuse. And that is also where those guys were like beating stuff up. She's not really back. Oh, we had Jean come back to help out with some of our intake and shipping. All right, and there is a hot spot. That hot spot, that is that MOSFET, the beat up chip right next to the one with the solder balls popping out. However, you guys that have watched us long enough are smart enough to know that the MOSFET is not a good candidate for the reason why we have a short to ground, because the MOSFET itself is not on ground. So that's unlikely to be the case. So then we can't find what's the most likely cause of our short with heat. We only saw the MOSFET getting hot. Which one's the MOSFET? So you guys can keep playing along at home. This guy. Oh, this was our little square here that was going blink, blink, blink. I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot. But we know that that's unlikely to be the cause of the short to ground because, let's look over here on ZXW anyway. What does this MOSFET do? Here he is, Q3300. He connects battery VCC with VDD main, and that's it. There's no ground there. So a short to ground is sending electricity to ground. This thing can't fail in a way that it starts talking to ground, so that is not it. So why is it getting hot? Well, because it's a very, very thin wire with high resistance, so it's going to generate heat. But it's making it difficult for us to find out where our short is. Our short is a thicker wire than the MOSFET. So what in this scenario could make a thick wire? A short normally is like something that fails just barely and it makes a thin wire so it gets hot. But in our case, our short is probably a thick wire that's made a thick wire that doesn't get hot. So how are we going to find it? Well, let's sort of guess. Let's say, how did it come to be this way? And I'm a huge fan of thinking like that when I'm trying to solve problems. How did it come to be this way? Well, I'm not sure that this always had a main short. Maybe it did. But it may have a self-inflicted main short from getting beat up. And if all the places where I think that is likely, I think that Chestnut getting beat up like that has a pretty good chance of being the cause of a short to ground. So let me tell you why I think that. So let's go cruise on over here. Here's Chestnut, U5600, and Chestnut, as you can see, the D1 ball under there is on main. So what if Chestnut is actually smashed on the board, or what if Chestnut has some internal damage so that main is connected to ground within Chestnut? Could be. Maybe not, but I think that we have to rule it out. So that's what we're going to do next. We are going to delete Chestnut. Now we'll have to ultimately replace it, but we're not going to replace it until we solve our main short, right? So we're not going to introduce a new variable by putting another chip on there. All right, so we're going to delete this Chestnut. What do you guys say? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, I had a funny experience last night when I went to the parent meeting over at the robotics team. And I walked in there, and somebody that was one of the like high schoolers was like, "Oh, you're the YouTube lady!" Like, I got recognized not for being a mom or the robotics team or anything like that, but because of YouTube. And he said, "I liked and subscribed to your channel, and I even clicked notifications." So, hey, robotics guy, thanks for watching. I thought that was really a hoot. All right, let's take off this Chestnut. Man, I wish they had robotics when I was growing up. That just looks like such a cool thing to do. They have so much like awesome equipment and everything. All right, here comes that Chestnut. And what do you notice? I used the hook drop method to delete that Chestnut so that it just pulls away, preserving what it looked like underneath the chip the whole time. And what do you see? I see, let's make it look the same way as the XW. Look at that. There was a big blob under there. Now that's not our main ball, but still, that's not good. So let's just, for fun, look up what is the consequence if you blob together those two balls, right? So it was ground, D4 was ground, it was blobbed into this guy, PN Chestnut CN. So that's going to be part of the Chestnut conversion of the 5V7 to its negative 5V7 output. That would have been ground. So Chestnut wouldn't have been able to work, but that doesn't explain why there was a main short. All right, so let's see. However, do we still have a main short now that we've taken away that variable of Chestnut? Let's find out. Let's see. All right. Good morning from the Philippines, from India. Thanks for repairing my phone, says Nope, Nope. You are welcome. If you tell me which one it was, maybe I will remember it, because there was one I talked, it's been fun, like getting to talk to folks on the phone with my new customer service role that I have to do a little bit here and there. And it's fun to like talk to customers, and that's been really fun. All right, we still have a main short. But the one lady I talked to today, she was like, oh yeah, you fixed my phone. It was the one that caught on fire from on the charger. I'm like, I remember that one. That was like a few weeks ago. All right, so we still have a main short, and now that's like, more difficult for us to find. Let's go ahead and clean up these solder balls here so that they're not bridged together, because we don't want to forget that when we come back. So let's see. All right. Nope, making his appearance on the Jessa Jones show. Do you guys know who Nope? Am I the only one that doesn't know who Nope is? Is Nope somebody that everybody knows but me? I could see that. I was talking to Lewis yesterday about what am I going to do about my car, and he was like, you should drive it to go to Rich Rebuilds and try to fix it. And I was like, does he fix stuff like this? That sounds really fun. What do you guys think? Should I drive all the way to New Hampshire to see if Rich Rebuilds will fix my Tesla with me or help me learn how to do it? That would be super fun. I don't know very much about cars, but I think it would be fun to learn. Like, I feel like I have a lot of guilt over my kids not knowing anything about car fixing, because I don't know how to fix anything on modern cars. And I'd really like to know. And I don't like that big gap where I'm not passing down culture that we're supposed to get, right? Okay, let's just make sure that we still have a short. And we do. All right, this time I think I'm going to solder a wire and just kind of let's look for heat again, rather than coming in through the battery connector, which is going to have to go through that thin wire, the MOSFET, in order to get to main. Let's see if we can find maybe a thin wire by adding our wire to the main test point right there, and then injecting into main as one of our strategies that we'll use. Let's see. Isn't the Tesla under warranty? Well, it is under warranty. However, oh, it's my dad. Hey, Dad, I see that you're not a subscriber once again. The Tesla is under warranty. However, as you know from Magnus and Moss, that warranty, it's not a warrantyable thing to say, listen, I was driving, I put more faith than I should have in autopilot, and I thought that autopilot would not plow through a deer. I thought it would stop, but I was wrong. So warranty that. That's not a warrantyable thing, I don't think. It's not even, I don't think I would even ask. However, so it's just got to be fixed. However, the rest of the car is under warranty. You cannot make a warranty require branded parts and service. That's Magnus and Moss, right? A manufacturer cannot require branded parts and service in order to honor a warranty. So let's say that later on there's a recall on something on this Tesla, or let's say that later on something stops working. I can't void my warranty by fixing the deer damage myself, right? Because they can't require me to use Tesla parts and service in order to maintain my warranty. That's a really big deal. Manufacturers cannot require branded parts and service. So all of this stuff about like, you'll void your warranty, you're being afraid of voiding warranties, right? I mean, we wear the I void warranty shirt all the time because it's a joke, because you can't void a warranty simply by using whatever parts and service that you want. All right, now I need to find some kind of a wire. I need to dig up a wire. Brad, you got my wire? I don't think he has it. All right, let's see. Where can I find a wire that I can use? When I don't have a wire, I like to keep the same wire all the time. But when it gets away from me, then I end up using beat up squids. Squids from another time. All right, let's see. Good morning from the humble state of Utah. Morning? It is not as late as I thought then. Although I'm pretty sure that I have to go pick up a kid pretty soon. Yeah, yikes. I better speed this one up. I'm going to cut my wire. Here we go. I was just in the beautiful state of Wyoming, which was super fun. I went to visit the family cabin up on Casper Mountain that has no running water, no cell service, no Wi-Fi. It has an outhouse. And man, that place is just the best. Everybody loves to go to the cabin. I mean, it's really great. You should try it. Just break your phone or something and spend some time with no phone and no internet. And it's great. Did a ton of hiking. It was so pretty up there. It was 70 degrees and I was, running on all the trails on the mountain, which are so steep. And then you look at it and it's like, this is a Nordic ski trail. You got to be out of your mind if you're going to ski on this trail that goes off this cliff. All right, here we got a wire. Now we're going to solder it on here so that we can inject voltage into main and see if we can find some heat that way. Now we may not be able to because our short may be a big blob. Right now, it may be that overheated Tigress where we see solder balls popping out, that might have made a big old blob of solder balls under Tigress. That would be a big wire. So that is a possibility. And we're just going to start knocking out possibilities. Oh, let's turn this soldering iron actually on. All right, let's see. There we go. All right, here we go. Can't you find that short with a thermal camera? Well, please hold. I will let you know if we can. Or if you think watching me solder a wire is pretty boring, I hear you. You can rewind and see what happens when you try to find the short with a thermal camera. All right, let's see if we can connect to that. All right, here comes our hand cam. Here we go, hand cam. Now we got to connect to our wire. That is mighty hard to do. And now we're going to see, did I make a connection? Yep, so when I touch ground, I see current flowing through the DC power. Now we got to dig up our thermal camera and let's see what happens. What are we doing now? We're checking to see if we can skip over the MOSFET by injecting directly into main and then see if we can see a thin wire that might be the short. And we're doing that because just coming in from the battery connector led to the common problem of the MOSFET getting hot. But we know the MOSFET can't possibly be the cause of our short. All right, let's see. What do we have now? Let's move. I wish I could move that a little bit more, but I can't. All right. Let's do a little tap, tap, tap. Move out of the way. There we go. All right, let's see. What is getting hot? Just our wire, so that doesn't help us. Hey, Dad. I'm pretty sure I already did a stream. My dad calls me like so infrequently. And I am pretty sure that I did a stream once where my dad happened to call, and then I just answered it saying, I see that you're not a subscriber, Dad. He did not get it. All right, what else do we have going on? So I'm doing tap, tap, tap. It's Christy, yay! Christy just did a cool repair, but she wouldn't do it on stream because she'd already done it. And she refused to do the kind thing for YouTube and take her newly fixed solder lug repair apart just so that we could see it on stream. She said no, that it was already invoiced and all put back together. She refused. Some people just, you know, have no concern for the poor YouTube audience. All right, so we're looking for heat, and what are we seeing? Nothing. The thinnest wire here is the actual wire. Oh, look, you can see a YouTube comment. Great. All right, so nothing is showing up as a thin wire, which makes sense. That means that we have a main short because of a thick wire. So that is a real drag, because it means that as far as thick wires go, what do we have left? What we have left is really, sorry, you little chestnut. What we have left is we've got, I don't know what's going on over here. So maybe somebody heated up. You could easily get a main short under there. That would be pretty thick from excess heat. This, I want to make sure that this isn't a mechanical short in the board, but I don't think it is. That seems okay. Yeah, that seems okay. That seems okay. Yeah, these prior repair attempts are just so beat up. It really stinks because now there's nothing for us to do, but we have to take off this underfilled chip, and that really stinks. So we're going to have to take off Tigress 2 just to rule it out, because we see all of the signs of heat around it, which means that we can't prove that this isn't the cause of a short that was induced by somebody messing around with it. We can't prove that. So that is going to have to come off, because no conventional shorts exist. Conventional shorts that are legitimate failures that make a thin wire. I am going to just kind of measure over here though just to be curious before I move on. Let's see whether or not this guy, let's look him up. Are you boost or what in the iPhone 8? Yep, VDD boost. Let's just check to see if VDD boost is short over here. Let's check. Whoa, my dad's boat's stuck. Anybody near to Captain's Cove, Virginia can go help my dad. All right, let's just check while we're here, because we saw that solder ball, and just see whether or not this guy, any of these guys are short. Nope. All right, so that solder ball, we're going to just say, forget it, you're fine. You can just chill out there. All right, so what do we do now? Let's see how much time do we have. It's 5:03. All right, hopefully I can get this done sooner rather than later. But for us, the next step, as we look in this area of heat, is we're going to have to take off that underfilled Tigress. Boo! Hiss! Boo! All right. And here's why. Let's click over and show main. Here's VDD main. So as we look here and we think, how did it come to be this way? We don't think that there's a little capacitor that's failed. or even a conventional chip that has just become short, because we're not detecting a thin wire when we look for heat. We're not seeing any heat. That means that the thin wire doesn't exist. Our short is a big blob, a big thick wire. So how did it get to be like that? That's not normal. That's weird, right? Well, how did it get to be like that? Now we're going to have to just go behind the tracks of whoever beat up this phone, cleaning up messes until we figure out what did they do that caused a big short. All right, so we've already removed Chestnut, right? So Chestnut was this guy over here. And now we're left with sort of next most likely is going to be Tigress, because it is really underfilled and it has a whole bunch of mane. Look, it's got a whole row of mane. So those balls swelling up could touch ground, or, I don't know, make a big blob, and that could be our short. So that's what we're going to do now. That is not my favorite, and it's really annoying. All right. Easier to desolder Trinity than Tigress. That is definitely true. Trinity is very temperature. I got 2 volts for it being Trinity, which could well be. So let's talk about that. Trinity, what are we talking about? Let's see, maybe let's just have it be votes. We'll let chat decide. Now it's funny how you kind of get biased. The last iPhone 8 that I worked on had a Tigress short to ground, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be what this phone has, right? But you kind of start thinking about the last thing you saw, right? However, what's the other possibility? Let's talk about the other sort of most likely. So if we're rating most likely, Trinity. What are we talking about? Trinity. So let's go to ZXW. Let's flip the board directly on the other side of the board. So flip, and directly on the other side of the board here is this big chip here, Trinity M5500. So this guy, look, there's nothing in here but ground, and there's a whole bunch of these coils that are embedded inside this chip. So Trinity is an array, a big chunk of ground with coils inside it. So let's put our eyes on Trinity and just say, is it possible that heating at Trinity could have made this turn short to ground, right? So what if you heat it up? Looking at it, I do see some little flecks of solder right here, right here, right here. But that could be from them trying to do this dumb thing of taking off the shield. I never take off this shield for this reason. I don't want to bother Trinity. So that is almost certainly, taking off that shield is probably how they ended up getting into all this overheated nonsense. Why were they trying to take that off though? What were they troubleshooting? I want to know were they just looking for water? I wish I could talk to them and know whether their main short predated that or not. So what if heat here at Trinity caused a solder blob? Ooh, this is a perfectly fine second possibility. Is there a short under Trinity? Maybe, but I think I'm still going to take off Tigress first, and here's why. In the iPhone 8, the Trinity chip, let me show you. I wish I had I didn't prepare for the schematics, so we're a little bit flying blind. But we can kind of look around and see what's going on in here. In the Trinity chip, in the iPhone 8, let's see what's going on. We got B6's main, and it's connected to all of these guys. That's one side of a coil, and the other side is here, backlight. So this is a backlight coil. And then down here, the other side is this stuff, whatever Ye208 is. Just yeet that right on off the board. So whatever other coil, like charge coil, speaker boost coil, is the Ye coil, it's that one. What's this one? That's main. This coil the big backlight coil. The other one was the selfie coil, the big backlight coil. And then let's look and see over here. What's this? Tigress. So this is the charging coil right here. And then that leaves this corner. And the corner is really important in the iPhone 8. So not true in the 7. So in the iPhone 8, there's this special weird oddity here, right? So what is this? In the iPhone 8, here we have these a little chip inside that coil array that's not a coil. What is it? It's the EEPROM. The EEPROM is the sacrosanct chip that you better not mess up. The EEPROM is part of the keys for data recovery. So if we want to get data out of this phone, which is why it went to the first data recovery company and now to us, we got to have that EEPROM working, and we can't damage it or mess it up. So the EEPROM is unique to this particular instance of this iPhone 8. If we replace the EEPROM, then we would have to restore the phone, so we wouldn't be able to get data. So that means I got to watch out for Trinity. If the problem is Trinity, then ultimately I'm going to take off Trinity, and then I'll have to reball this Trinity and put it back on. But when I do that, it will then be attached with regular leaded solder. And when it's attached with leaded solder, I'm going to get in trouble. When it's attached with leaded solder, then if I later go on to find out that my problem was at Tigress or one of the chips up above, then I'm going to be in trouble, because now I'll be working on excavating out an underfilled Tigress chip on top of something that I've resoldered with leaded solder. That's going to tend to drop down, and that could get me into trouble. So if the problem is Trinity, I'll get to that. But I feel like while it's in the native state, before I pull off Trinity, I'm going to first check out to see if it's Tigress. What do you guys think? All right. Oh shit, EEPROM is in there. Didn't know that. Yes, it is. Sweet EEPROM. Yes. Water, they couldn't find short, same as you, and we're desperately looking for heat. I would assume a short on the direct head side underfilled chips. I vote for Tigress, but Trinity being easier still holds. Chance of Trinity shorting aren't very high since they are more spread from ground. Random factor seems to favor Trinity. All right, let's look at the time factor to see when I have to get Sam. This is the Sam factor. It's really going to come down to Sam. So I definitely have to pick up Sam. Let's see. All right, chat. Any other strong opinions? Let's see, vote. Let's see, sweet EEPROM. Geez, I agree. Ed Bon Jovi. Turn on full self-repair. Yes, I like that. Usually on Paul Daniels chats, as I do not do phones, but after 20 years of component level, I did my first phone repair. Trinity. Call Sam an Uber. And do Tigress. Well, it's Sam and his friend, so that's definitely out. All right, I think I'm going to go for Tigress because I'm just going to go for Tigress. Because I don't want to get stuck with having Trinity off the board when I have to run out of here all of a sudden. That's it. Vote. Survey says Tigress. Tigress first, which is fine. All right, so underfilled Tigress. Also, I don't think there's a ton of underfilled chip removal stuff on this channel anyway. So since the MOSFET is damaged, I'm going to take that off at the same time. Whoa, what did that do? Ah, there we go. All right, hopefully we can see that. Okay. All right. If not, let that chip off. Let's see. Got to answer some crockpot questions. This is I think I'm the only tech stream that has to answer live stream crockpot questions. I don't know how to check the chicken. If it pulls apart, it is done. All right, crockpot question has been answered. Now let's take off the Tigress chip that controls the charging function of this poor old beat up iPhone 8. And while I'm doing that, if you are just getting here, make sure to send a get well soon card to poor Sunday, who had to go into the hospital on purpose with her full self-aware faculties, pay them money to have them delete a chunk of her thumb that will never be the same again. She'll never be able to bear weight in this direction. And it's really scary because her other thumb is starting to kind of do the same thing. So it's pretty sad, pretty scary, and she is having 12 weeks of recovery. You can also send a card to anybody here that has to answer the phone and do customer service in her absence, because we all suck at it, and we really appreciate her and her job. All right, does Lewis even know how to use a crock pot? Oh, heavens no. Lewis doesn't even know what a crock pot is, although his dad was a chef, so there's really, he really should know more about cooking, but I think even his dad didn't, I don't think chefs really use a lot of crock pot. I'm not really sure. All right, there we go. Okay, so first thing, we gotta remove the underfill. So we're gonna go through here with this handy dandy scraper, and we're gonna scrape this up. Andre sent $5 Canadian. Can't send a card, but send a small tip. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. And I will pass that along. I'm sure that Sunday will appreciate that as well. She was really funny when we went out for like a team dinner at the last course. When she was talking about growing up, her mom made dinner every night, which is something that I've been trying to do. I'm failing, as you can see, having to answer crockpot questions and not doing a good job. But she said her mom made dessert every day, which I cannot imagine. I can't imagine having my act together. And then she was telling me that her mom made stuff like peach melba, which, what is that? What, has anybody ever actually had peach melba? I think that's just something I've heard about before, but I don't really know what it is. All right. So then I was going to try to make her some sugar-free peach melba because she's doing a low carb. And then I gave up because peach melba kind of looked gross. Sounds like you need a hands-free phone set up for Sunday, whatever that looks like. Yeah, I encouraged her to join the awesome club of people, like half of the people that work here, Owen, me, Jean, uh-oh. Gotta answer the phone. Somebody's gotta answer the phone. Supposed to be Christine. Right here. You want to answer it? No. Here you go. Sure you do. I need to get to karate. Hi, this is Christy. I'm on my way to karate.
Hello, this is iPad Rehab. How can I help you?
All right, now we're going to go and try to take the chip off. Let's see. What's a good... Was it an iPad request? Because that'd be pretty funny. I hear Christy saying, I try not to answer the phone. All right. I'm looking for my IC remover tool, and I don't see it. Oh, did you guys collect all the stuff so I can't steal anything from students? That's a drag. That is quite the drag. Alrighty, we'll see if we can find the right blade right in here. In the restaurant business, Can confirm. Chefs don't really use an Instapot. Now, an Instapot's fancy. Instapot is one level up from the crock pot, which is what I was making stuff in today. The good old 1970s crock pot. All right, let's see. Let's see if maybe we can just find out whether or not this short was under Tigress or not. It would be great if it was, but this one still needs to get some stuff done before it's good to go. Do you think that they took off this guy? I didn't really think about that, but let's check. I like how fine these tools are. Most of my work stuff in Japan is robotic, and I suck going back in and, well, I don't know. I would suck at programming robots. All right, let's check and see, just as I'm looking at it, kind of catches my eye that this guy, does this guy have any main? Let's see. Where are you, main? Do you go under this guy? This guy, I don't even know this guy. This is the bottom speaker amp. Let's take this guy off just in case someone picked it up and smashed it back down again. I don't think so, but it just kind of jumped out at me as like maybe a little bit odd. Maybe not, but it's easy enough to take off and we don't really need them, so what the heck? Why not? Let's go ahead and do it. All right, let's go for it. Ugh. Yeah, this is a solder ball right there. Yeah, no, this guy's not been off before. Whoa, look at that. Christy, did you have a great time on the phone?
I did. I told him to email you.
What? So, Owen, did you get trained on phones?
I am a world-class cashier.
You are? Great.
Was.
Awesome. This is in the what not to do under speaker amp. Now, it would be really cool if this was our cause of our main short and that my Tigress is just fine, even though all I did was sort of clean out around it. That is quite bad. Like, think that's really hard to do. I just was saying, oh no, this has never been taken off before because it was so hard to get off. Because there was just a big blob under it. That is not cool. But wasn't the main one, the main ball, second from the top? I don't remember. Let's see. Were any of those blobbed together, main and ground? I don't remember. Let's go check it out on ZXW. Oh, it is! Oh my God, look at that! Number 3. I thought it was the second, but it's not. It's 3. 3 blobbed into this whole stripe. That would do it. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? 1, 2, yeah. This guy, main, is blobbed into ground for sure. Forget about Trinity. Forget about the fact that I may have dinged up Tigress so bad it doesn't work anymore. That's going to definitely be a main short. Do you guys see that? You cannot do that. You cannot take main ball, this one, and ground ball and just go like that and have it, and just, it's fine. Just, if you can't see it, it's not short. Just cover it up. Just get a sticker. Just, it'll be fine. Nope, that doesn't work. All right. Well, no one guessed that one. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Chad. Not a single one of you guys helped me to guess that maybe the bottom speaker amp was going to be. That's one of those things where I didn't guess that either, but there was something that, some like nuance. That's sort of, why physicians have to go to school for years and years and years and then do call for years and years and then be a resident in the hospital for years and years, because it's the like nuance that doesn't make sense. Why did I look under there? That's not a place. It didn't even look like that chip had been taken off. And that was a big old blob. So there must have been something that is like your subconscious notices that you can't really point out. But, all right, so now what does that make? Reflow the whole board, yes. The guy might have just heated and squished every, reflow. I mean, like, that's the only way you could do that. Heat it up and then push it down in order to do that. That's terrible because it hadn't been rebobbed. Well, that sucks. That sucks. All right, now that was a main short, but was it the only main short? Let's find out. So now we have to go back to our spot and measure and see, do we still have a main short, yes or no? All right, I would love to learn this kind of repairs, but with my bad eyesight, it would be too difficult for me. Oh, I don't know about that. I can't even look at a microscope because of nystagmus syndrome. What if you only use one eye? One eye or no? Boo! Well, that sucks. Now I feel like the guy really did just heat up and squish everything. Oh, that just made this whole repair level up on order of pain in the acidness. Well, that sucks. What would have really sucked would be to have done Tigress and Trinity only to find that out. All right, let's see. Are there any... Let me just make sure there's not... I mean, now we're on the hunt for what did this guy heat up and squish? The heat up and squish detectives is now the main job here. So let's just go find out. All right. You can do it, Andre. It really, that's challenging. Poor vision isn't a challenge. Poor vision through a microscope is absolutely a challenge. So I get it. Nystagmus would be tough. All right, let's see. What else could be heat and squish? All right, so we've got one of these guys does have some main under it. So we're going to pancake turner that thing off because we're ruling out any kind of heat and squish. We got a heat and squish jockey that we're hot on the heels of, and we're going to leave nothing here to chance. So let's take that off. Let's take off this. This is an RF chip that we definitely don't need to be there. But now I feel like we could have a problem under Trinity just from heat and squish. Sometimes I just would really like to talk to, just, why'd you do that, buddy? Was it an accident? Just tell me it was an accident. All right, let's see. Do we still have a main short? I'm betting yes. Why did you do that, buddy? But I'll never be able to figure out who this was. All right. Still have a main short. And let's see. Nothing up there is going to jump out at us. Oh, buddy. Yeah. There's no more chips in there that you could have heat and squished. So we're back to taking off Tigress. And let's see. Do you think he intentionally pushed down on these underfilled ones? That would be terrible. That would be so terrible. All right, let's see. All right, let's go over to ZXW for a second. So we've ruled out our bottom speaker amp. We've ruled out Chestnut. Backlight driver was never there. Nothing on this bottom side of the board matters. So now we are focused up here. So we've got a spot of main under each of these guys. And we will take them off until we don't have a main short anymore. So we're going to do Tigress next. And it's going to either be Tigress, these other two guys, or Trinity. That's really all that we're left with. So keep on keeping on. Let's see if we can get Tigress off before I have to pick up Sam. How are we doing? Ooh, it is. I think we'll only be able to take off Tigress. And then I got to pick up Sam. And that is just the way it is with live streams. I really would like to be able to make edited videos, because some of these are cool, but edited videos end up just being, yeah, cool thing, we'll do a cool video. And then just run out of time. Editing is so laborious. I'm just not very good at it. Every now and then we've got a channel editor, which is fun, because then we can make some videos. But then they have a bad habit of going to college. All right, let's see. Come on up. Go. There we go. Alrighty. Let's clean that up a little bit. You can stay down. You're fine. You're fine. And let's see how we're doing in here. Hello, Dr. Jones. Hope you're having a good time. We certainly are. Although I've got to go drive. The crock pot and the sports pickup duty calls. Maybe I'll pick this one up again tomorrow. We'll see. All right. At least we should be able to get a nice quality Tigress on here as we work here in speed mode. And I really think, what is the absolute last possible second that I can walk out of here and not leave Sam stranded? All right, Tigress is now off the board, and let's check to see, do we still have a main short? Yes or no? Let's find out. Where is it going to be, chat? Let's see. All right. Survey says, do we have a main short right now? Yep. Sorry, Tigress. You were falsely accused. Oh, all right. How bad is it over here? Is it worth taking off these two guys? I think I will, just for the sake of completion. I'm going to take off those two guys. That way I can do Trinity last while this is still nice and warm. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Let's put her back in the saddle. And we are going to delete the other two guys that are on this side of the board, just because I don't want to have to come back to it. All right. And then we will guess that we had a smash ball, a smash chip jockey operating directly on our friend Trinity. All right, that's done. Yeah, that one looks okay. I'm gonna leave that one alone because I don't see the little Mickey Mouse ears. Okay. I feel like the right stopping point for this video is to take off Trinity and not have a main short anymore. Then we'll have to, unfortunately, reball it. Unless one of you guys wants to jump up. Hey, Christy, you want to jump up and reball Trinity so that we can see this phone turn back on again? Christy wants to go pick up her kid from karate. It is kid picking up a clock. All right, we're in speed mode now. All right, Trinity, you're next and you're last. Do we still have a main short? Yay or nay? We do, which means Okay, EEPROM, you gotta be all right. You're gonna be fine. All right, let's squirt some stuff under here. It's really gonna be a drag if it's not under Trinity and then it's actually like in the board right there or something like that. That would be pretty unusual though. All right, I'd like to grab my Omni vise to hold this sucker down. And I don't see it, so I will just do this. We'll go back to the old eye pinch. I haven't really used the eye pinch a lot, but I'm starting to like it. Starting to like it as of today. All right, here we go. Not enough for a cup of coffee, but okay for a pack of sugar. Well, thanks for the pack of sugar. I will find somebody that likes sugar. I guess everybody likes sugar. And put it to good use, like Sunday. Like Sunday's kids. All right, sweet, sweet Trinity. Okay. How you doing, Trinity? All right, now this guy has the precious EEPROM in it, so it's got to get labeled and taped to the board because it cannot go into the wild. That would be bad. All right, and I think I nudged these guys, so I got to look him up. Let's look him up and see where does that guy go. All right, so flip it around, and we got this little resistor that is for a lower antenna. Screw him. We don't care about lower antenna resistor. Let's see. But he's supposed to be moved back. Yikes. There you go, buddy. You're fine. Perfect. Okay. Now, was this a Trinity-based main short all along? Let's find out. Survey says short is gone. Yay! 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 So now, in order to get this to turn on again to recover data, we have to reball the Trinity chip. We've got to reball that coil array because inside there is the EEPROM, and we got to have that particular one. So we got to hope that Trinity itself isn't actually internally shorted and that this was just a short underneath. Because if it's internally shorted, then we'll have to get really creative, right? So we'll still be able to figure out what ball under Trinity causes the short, and then we could just mask that over or delete it. So we'll be able to get that. And then we've got a ways to go back before we can actually get it to boot up, right? Because it's not going to make image without a Chestnut. We're going to need image in order to type the passcode. So we've got some work to do. But the good news is that this poor little iPhone 8 has been so beat up. It's kind of like Sunday right now in the hospital getting its surgery, and it's going to be okay, but not before I have to go pick up Sam. So that is going to be my stopping point for this stream, and I will pick this one back up and make sure that maybe I'll post it on a community post when this phone is working so that you guys can see the exciting conclusion. So look for that. And otherwise, make sure, if you haven't already, send a get well card to Sunday, who had her thumb chopped off, beat up, everything's beat up, and that will really brighten her day. And until then, be nice to us if you call us on the phone. I'll see you next time.